So here's this calculator. I think we still have too much information here, right? It should be really simple. It's right here. For every specialist VT you have, it's $4,500 a month you save. For a pro, it's 6,000. For a part time, it's two. For a part time pro, it's 2,500. Right? This is the average across those two, but it's based on the type of VT you have. What I'm seeing here is it's kind of divided, right? So he has 4 VTs, so his monthly should essentially be 4. So it's VTs 4. He's been a client, months of a client, let's just say it's 10. And then the savings, because they're specialists, full time is that. So it'd be that times that times that. So he should be at 180,000. It should be very simple like that on that calculation. And then similar on the scale, right? It should be, if it be 5, it would be multiplying it that way. This is way too much information. I just make it really simple. It says monthly, you save this much, 4,500, and annually you save this much so far, right? And then you could probably have another one that says life of the engagement. You could have however many months. Maybe they've been a client for over a year, so it'd be however many months times the number of virtual teammates times the average monthly savings. And I think that would be a key one to kind of put in here. That makes it really simple and it doesn't become too confusing. Because if you do all of these, it can get pretty, so I'm trying to think like, how is the social media manager different than anything else, right? Is it, and maybe you just do pro and specialist on this calculation right here,
Yeah.
not each
Only for the
role.
job category.
Yeah, because this is a lot of information that could raise a lot of questions. I just want to keep it really simple. Just $4,500. Make it real simple. $4,500 or 2,000. It's a specialist, part time, full time. It's a pro, 6,000, and then it's just purely the number of VT, the number of months they've been a client, times the savings, gives you the total. I mean, this is great. Don't get me wrong. This is great work. I mean, it's really impressive information, but it's too much
Too much
information, right? I think it
information.
becomes overwhelming. You have this many VTs. You've been, this is how much you save every month, and annualize it's this. And then I think another bar would be really key. Would be how long they've been a client, right? If they've been a client for 10 months, then it should be 10 times this. Is that? But we need to kind of the modeling could potentially come into it where we have a situation, let me see here, where they maybe added one this month, and then they added one here and here and here. These should all kind of calculate out. So if I use the analogy of the 4,500, then that this is how the calculation would essentially work, right? They started back then, and so up until here, this is when they became a client. And then, of course, I added the second one on. So now you've got the second 4,500. And then they add another one on. And another one on. So, monthly is 4,500. And if we were to add this up annually, right? Because you start on 7/1, it would be 200,000. And then if we calculate the life of him being a client with us, it'd be 315. So it kind of shows you that logic, right? The logic has to be when the VT started, monthly savings, and then as they add another one, obviously that monthly savings goes on top of each other.
Yeah. Chris, where can we get the information in terms of when that client started their subscription with us in HubSpot? Is it in HubSpot as well?
It is, yeah. So in HubSpot, you can go in and there's first, closed one, right? When the client first hit the closed one, and you can see here, client close one, right? So we can see on June 1st, in the June timeframe, the Phoenix Heat became a client, right? And so you could get the extract from,
Okay.
so this was in June of, you saw it was June of 2024, became client active, and there would be a date associated to it. So we'd have to work with Becker on how to pull that date. But you should be able to get it from HubSpot when they became a client. When they became client active, there's a date that's stamped on that.
Okay.
So as you can see here, client active, right here.
Okay.
So you should be able to capture that date. And that'll be the first time they became client active. Obviously, if there's multiple deals, you'll also be able to see, when new virtual teammates started. So you would be able to see, from a deal perspective, when all of those, when those new deals, so when those new VTs came on, you'd be able to pull that information as well. But I would get with Becker on that.
But we'll refer the client active date.
I believe that's the correct one. Just double check with
Becca.
Becca, but I think that's it, the client active date.
Yeah. Because I think that's the one thing that Spencer doesn't have any information. So
Yeah, and I could probably, you see here, I could go here, export unsummarized data, and I could probably get all of the dates that each person became a client. So if we need that to get started, and
yes,
then
yes.
obviously subsequently we could add to that information about new deals that they got going. We can definitely work with Becker on that. Okay. And I'll send a message to Becker and copy you and Spencer in Slack to say we want a report that shows, when did they become clients? What's the date? What's the right date? And then also, how do we capture the information of when a existing client adds a new deal, means adds a new virtual team? How do we get those dates as well?
Yeah.
Sound good?
Yep. And Chris, you have a guest podcast tomorrow. It's in your calendar.